Greg, welcome back to the podcast. I hope you're doing okay.
Thank you. Nice to see you again.
And we're going to continue. It's our third and our final interview that we recorded at the APPM conference in Fort Lauderdale. And it was a great conference. It's a 3-day conference. It's pretty much chock full of information. Greg, what's your biggest takeaway? What was your biggest takeaway from the conference?
Well, not being a practicing medical person, I was there to primarily learn more about marketing and business leadership and things like that. But one of the things that I heard a ton about was regenerative medicine, and it got me, it opened up my eyes a little bit more to what that is. I'm sure you can talk about that on a deeper level than I can, but it was just something that was on the top of everybody's mind, it seemed like, and a lot of conversations surrounding that and the impacts for clients and practices overall.
Yeah, I have to admit this. It was the same for me. And in my practice, we do a fair amount of regenerative medicine already. But since the practice, I've added more modalities and I plan on bringing more in. And it's very, very receptive from the patients and actually leads in perfectly to our next interview. I'd like to introduce our guest, Dr. Thuy Ho Ellsworth. She is a dual board certified podiatrist and foot and ankle surgeon who embodies the American dream and represents the future of innovative healthcare. Dr. Ho Ellsworth holds dual certification in both forefoot and reconstructive rear foot surgery, as well as ankle surgery through the American Board of Foot and Ankle Surgery. As the medical director and founder of Align Foot and Ankle in Austin, Texas, Dr. Ho Ellsworth has been serving patients in the Austin area for over 12 years. She founded her practice on the principal belief that healing starts from within and that a minimally invasive approach is key to faster healing and quicker return to activity. Her philosophy is that patients deserve the most advanced and best that medicine has to offer. Dr. Ho Ellsworth specializes in cutting-edge treatments, including minimally invasive surgery for bunions and hammer toes, regenerative medicine, laser therapy, Keriflex nail restoration, and Onifix nail correction. Her state-of-the-art in-office surgical suite allows her to provide comprehensive care using both conservative and surgical techniques tailored to each patient's unique needs. What truly sets Dr. Ho Ellsworth apart is her compassionate approach and attention to detail. She provides care in both English and Vietnamese, and her patients consistently praise her gentle technique and ability to emphasize with the patients of all ages. Driven by a personal passion for nutrition, fitness, and an active lifestyle, she enjoys sharing her expertise to help patients return to healthy, fulfilling lives. Her commitment to excellence extends beyond patient care. She continually works to stay current with the latest podiatry treatments and innovations, ensuring her patients receive the most advanced care available. It's our pleasure to welcome a remarkable physician who combines cutting-edge medical expertise with genuine compassion, Dr. Thuy Ho Ellsworth.
Thank you.
So you have a thriving practice in Austin, Texas, and your practice is a hybrid of insurance and cash services. Has this been your model from the beginning?
You know, it wasn't the intention, but when I started my practice, the intention was to survive and stay afloat. And when I saw that I was able to offer my patients services that was beyond what was out there and what was available, it just so happened that it allowed me to kind of create an environment where I was able to achieve patient satisfaction, but also practice satisfaction for myself as a provider. And that's just the direction it happened to move.
Thuy, have you found that you're facing any challenges while explaining to your patients why certain services aren't covered by insurance?
Yeah, I think it's natural. I think the insurance model is, you have this coverage that you paid for, and the expectation from the patient is everything should be covered. Mm-hmm. And when you offer services that are not going to be covered, you get a pushback from patients. And they're confused and they're wondering, why is my insurance not covering this? And so I think it's natural to get that pushback.
Do you what's your uptake, so to speak, when you're offering a cash service? Do people kind of want to stick with insurance based, or are they happy to move into the cash realm?
I think that as the provider, we have the opportunity to ask the right questions, work up a pain point from the patient, and lead them in the direction that they want. And my goal is not so much to push or force anything on them, but to meet their needs. And a lot of times as a provider, when you reframe your approach, you'd be surprised at a patient's response. I think most providers just think that, gosh, there's no way my patients are going to go for this. But when you ask the patient what their goals are, and if you tell them, I think I can meet your goal, or I'm hopeful that I can alleviate your pain, and I have something that can offer that to the patient. I don't talk about pricing. I don't talk about what's covered or what's part of the plan. And the patients are excited to hear that you have something in store for them that is going to help them, because they've already gone to 2 other podiatrists or 2 other providers, and they haven't gotten the answer they want. But then when they're in your seat and you tell them you've got something, they're very excited. They want to hear about it. And my approach is, okay, if I do get pushback from patients, I typically will say, well, your insurance is going to cover the basic plan. What I'm offering you is premium care. What I have is something that is above and beyond what your insurance will cover. And so I think when you reframe it in that way, it opens the patient's mind a little bit more to, okay, I don't want basic care. I've received basic care and it hasn't worked. So I think when you reframe your approach, patients are a lot more open to it.
Right. I think it's a great way to frame it. I'm going to take that from you.
Yeah, I like how you tweak that and change the messaging to be able to communicate the value back to the patient in that conversation.
So I know you focus a lot on, regenerative medicine solutions. Can you walk me through what modalities you offer and what benefits they have for your patients?
Yeah. When you talk about regenerative medicine, regenerative therapies, immediately everybody thinks stem cells, right? And I think it really is just a big umbrella that covers anything that allows your body to heal itself. So whether it's photobiomodulation, whether it's peptides, whether it's shockwave, red light, biologics, these are all entry points into the same approach, cellular restoration. And that's how I explain it to my patients. We're not forcing your body to do anything unnatural. We're actually harnessing your body's potential, giving it everything it needs to heal. And that, to me, is the idea behind regenerative medicine, and really how the direction that we should be going in. For me, I broke out from how I was trained traditionally and really wanting to go in a different direction and breaking from the traditional protocols, the traditional algorithm, into a new pathway of healing.
So do you get any pushback when you recommend modalities that could be a big investment?
Yeah, I think again, it's really easy for us to think about pushback all the time. I don't think about pushback. I guess to me, I don't really get pushback in that way. I get patients listening because I'm educating, right? And the way I talk about it, the way I describe it is, okay, we can go one of 2 routes. We can either mask the pain or we can heal the pain. which route do you want to take? And when you put that power in the patient's hands and you give them the option and the choice, I've never had anybody that says, I want to mask the pain. And so my approach, I feel like it's rare that I immediately get any kind of pushback. I get additional questions and inquiry. Okay, tell me more. I want to hear more. And I think that's the direction that we want to take our patients into.
Yeah, since I've been doing regenerative medicine in my practice, it's been this very similar where you bring something in and you think about, are people really going to invest in this? And then I realize they can't wait to invest in it. It's just the next step in their treatment, or even the first step in their treatment, but one that they weren't necessarily considering. So I think you have a great approach to this. If a practitioner was going to start with regenerative medicine, do you recommend them starting with a whole suite of offerings, or pick one thing and then kind of add on to that?
Are you referring to how a doctor adopts these things, or are you referring to how we present it to the patient?
No, how adopting into their own practice.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly the format I took for my practice. It was one modality at a time. And, it's really easy to look at it as modalities and technology, but we have to remember that the focus is healing, right? And so I want to look at it as this is a new addition that's going to help heal my patients. So yes, I took one. For me, when I started out, I was in a 2-man team opening my practice, and really 3. It was my husband and I and a virtual assistant. That's all we had. And I started out with a skeleton model because I was thinking, I just want to survive. And so I took on the use of a laser. And then I saw the benefits of that. And then it was a no-brainer after that I started investing in additional modalities that would help my patients further along.
Excuse me. Yes, you. You didn't become a doctor to manage retirement plans. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Beyond Financial Planning, partnering with the AAPPM to offer you, its members, a multiple employer pension 401k plan. If you have questions or want to dive deeper into today's topic, visit us at aappm401k.com.
So from the time you started out just trying to survive to the modern day, to where we're at in a successful practice that you're running, what's been the biggest game changer, if you will? Do you have one thing that you could pinpoint that has been an aha moment, or something you've implemented in your practice that's been a huge game changer for you?
Yeah, I think that, for me, it was really revamping my approach with patients. I always thought that you start here conservatively and you save everything for the last, when traditional treatments have failed. Why are we doing that? Patients are educated. They have information now at the tip of their fingers, and they're coming in already knowing what they want. They want what they saw getting Shaquille O'Neal back in the court. They want what they saw getting Aaron Rodgers back on the field. Why do they have access to that type of treatment or that type of therapy? And where can they get that? And so I think it's important that we meet our patients' goals or their wants. And so when they come in, I'm not jumping right to, okay, let's start with shoe modifications or stretching anymore. I listen to what it is they have to say, and they say, okay, I have something that can get you back to what you want to do sooner. How does that sound? And I think revamping that approach is really important. And that's allowed me to offer these premium services early on instead of waiting until all else has failed. Not only are we meeting the patient's needs, we're meeting their lifestyle demands, we're meeting their timelines, but we are allowed to do what we do in the first place, heal, right? We're not buying time anymore. We're jumping right to what it is we were put here to do. And it's created so much satisfaction for my patients and for myself as a provider. And I realized early on that by doing that, I started getting further and further away from this dependency on insurance models. And I mean, my mind was blown that in 1 year, I could get to where I would only dream in 10 years, which was a 7-figure practice in that short amount of time, but not because I was trying and pushing and, trying to get money. It was really my passion for regenerative therapy and the intent to meet my patients' needs that landed me there.
That's amazing.
So I've recently learned about the BPC 157 peptides, and peptides are huge right now. You see peptides everywhere. Can you tell me more about the benefits of peptides for our patients?
Yeah, I mean, I think we hear words like Ozempic and tirzepatide and all these GLP-1s, right? And those are peptides. And for us, we're not going to be prescribing those things in podiatry. But my favorite peptide for podiatry is BPC 157, which is body protective compound 157. And what exactly are peptides? Peptides are essentially amino acids. We're providing the body with its basic building block, basic cell signaling that helps it perform in all of its functions to generate collagen, to for angiogenesis, reducing or inflammatory modulation. It is an amazing compound that is perhaps the best peptide for anything and everything that we do in podiatry, whether it's collagen or tendon healing, wound healing, post-surgical healing. It's really valuable. And I think that you hear about everybody injecting peptides, but I mean, think about how many patients want to inject themselves with something every day. And so now with the advent of a bioavailable oral peptide, it's been a really amazing avenue for my patients that they can start taking on a daily basis, and an avenue for myself to provide my patients with something like this on a daily basis to help them meet their goals, whether it be faster healing, or wound healing, or faster recovery into their lifestyles.
So I know we've been throwing a lot of questions at you. Thank you for sharing. But one last question I really wanted to make sure I asked because it's something that's new to me. Can you tell us a little bit more, please, about red light therapy?
Oh my gosh, red light therapy. I love red light therapy. And I have been just personally doing it for myself for years, for skincare. I'll do anything to anti-age, right? But when I came across an amazing medical grade red light panel, which was promoted by Dr. Ruhul Desai, who's an interventional radiologist, and he had been doing for years results with regenerative therapy, and he found that the research showed that with red light therapy, it increased cellular activity. And there's been so much research that shows that people who undergo photobiomodulation or red light therapy had so much cellular increase, cellular activity, that they did a cell count before and after. And the results were astounding. And so, you can see red light everywhere on Amazon, on the internet, and now there's red light centers that you buy memberships to, and you can go and lay under a red light. And so what I've done is I've incorporated it directly into my practice, and I have it available for my patients to use. But now I'm dispensing this almost like a prescription for my patients to go home with. And beyond what it can do for your body, just with angiogenesis and healing and recovery, reduction in inflammation. But for our patients with neuropathy, vasculopathy, pain, inflammation, I've seen amazing results with it. And so now I prescribe it just like anything else that we prescribe. And I tell them whether they're doing shockwave therapy or class 4 laser therapy in my office, I tell them, you've seen the benefits of it in my office. I want you to take this home and continue the benefits in your home. And that's the great thing about it. Now the patients have something that they can take home and continue what it is that we've been helping them do in the office.
That's great. Thuy, thank you so much for joining us. This was amazing.
Thank you. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about my passion, which is regenerative therapy.
Absolutely. Thanks
Take
so
care.
much.
Thank you.
Wow. What a great interview. I really love her energy. So there's a whole lot to unpack there. Andrew, what was your biggest takeaway?
Well, I was so impressed by her. I was really impressed by how she frames the regenerative treatments to her patients as medicine and not as just something that you're paying for, another treatment that you're paying for. I've actually used some of the wording that she mentioned in her interview in my own clinic. And even since then, I've brought in most of the regenerative treatments that she's discussed. I've had amazing results with it. So I think that Dr. Ho Ellsworth is really on the bleeding edge of medicine, and certainly with podiatry, but I think with regenerative medicine in general. And I think we're going to hear a lot more great things from her.
Absolutely. And that actually reminds me too, that's one of the main reasons to attend the conference, the annual conference in Fort Lauderdale, is you get to spend time with people like Dr. Ho Ellsworth and other leading professionals in the podiatric industry. And so I would encourage everybody listening to the podcast to come check us out in Fort Lauderdale, November 2026. And we can spend time together learning and growing together there. Also, if you have enjoyed this episode of our podcast here, The Entrepreneurial Podiatrist, like, share, follow it here, connect with us on social media, or send us an email. And we'd love to connect with you if you have questions on any of these other topics. All right, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Entrepreneurial Podiatrist podcast. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our website at aappm.org or aappm401k.com. You'll find all our social media links in the episode summary. We'd love to connect.